after Sunday school, after majalis for families to visit their loved ones, and also for other people in the community when they come to the cemetery to recite Fatiha, then they will also be remembering in their du'as all of the others who are buried there. So this is a very unique opportunity. The cemetery has informed us that they will be raising prices from May 1st. So we have about 3 weeks, a little less than that, for those who would like to purchase a grave to contact the cemetery and make that reservation. So this session is meant to answer questions. A number of you responded to our form and expressed interest. This is the time to ask any questions that you may have about the opportunity to buy graves for family and for loved ones, and then to fill out that intake form which the cemetery has provided, and to reserve those grave spots while the current pricing is still in effect. So inshallah, we'll come to your questions in just a moment. I'll ask my father if he would like to add any comments regarding what the cemetery is currently offering us.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. They are offering us space only, means just it is a space for burial, and then they are offering the full package. What it means that space plus the opening, closing, and the cement wall inside. So that's known as the full package. And the 20% discount to the members of Shahe Najaf. The price for the space only is 3,920, and the at the lower level. At the upper level, which is higher level, the price is $5,120, and for the full package at lower level, which is about maybe 20 feet down on the slope, is 5,788, and upper level full package is 6,988. These are the current prices, and I have been informed twice, about a week ago and again yesterday, that the prices are going up as of May 1st, and they adjust the prices every year. So these are the prices with 20% discount. And these are the prices to be paid within 3 months once you sign the contract. 1/3 right away, and 1/3 second month, and 1/3 in the third month. Then there is a second package which can be paid off in 36 months, but that will have 10% discount as a member of the Shahe Najaf. And there's a third package which can be paid off in 60 months, and it will have only 5% discount available to any members which will go there and have it signed.
So you have the financing option now, because they wanted to keep in mind Muslim restrictions on interest. They're calling it interest-free, but the amount of the discount is different. So with a 60-month, a 5-year financing, they're offering a lesser discount. With 3-year financing, 36-month, they're offering 10% discount, and then for 90 days is considered to be a cash purchase. So if it's going to be paid in full within 90 days, then they're offering their maximum discount of 20%. And one other thing that they mentioned is that these prices, which you should be able to see them on your screen right now. Can everybody see the chart? I'm sharing the screen.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So these prices, the full package reflects this grave site, the grave lining, and the opening and closing of the grave. And that if you buy the full package, in addition to the 20% discount, they're also offering a $500 discount for the full package. But if somebody wishes to just purchase the grave site, then it doesn't have that $500 additional discount. But regardless of which financing option you may choose and which package you may choose, there are upper level and lower level graves. And there were a few questions about that. Upper level basically just means that there's certain graves that are on a slope. This is higher on that slope or the hill, and lower level is a little bit lower on that slope. And there's a
20 feet gradually low.
Yeah, up to maybe 10, 15 feet. There isn't that much of a difference, and inshallah, there shouldn't be any issues with water in any of the graves in the section that we are purchasing. So these graves that if you were to purchase, you will contact the cemetery directly, and you will fill out the intake form, and then you will inform us and also inform the cemetery that you are a member of Shahe Najaf. When you inform them that you're a member of Shahe Najaf, they'll give you the discount that was mentioned, and they will also make sure that your grave sites are adjacent to the other graves that Shahe Najaf members have purchased or are going to purchase. So they will all be, the graves of mu'mineen will be together for visitation, for Fatiha, and then the entire section will also have other Muslims who will come for burial. But if you mention that you are a member of Shahe Najaf, in addition to the discount, you'll also have your graves adjacent. And we'd like to have all of the members of our community, all mu'mineen, in the same area. So that area has been reserved for now for members of Shahe Najaf. Are there any questions that you would like to have addressed?
So one question I have was, so basically to make the arrangement, we have to contact the cemetery directly, correct?
Yes, there's an intake form, and all you will do is you will let them know that you are a member of Shahe Najaf.
And you would be providing the intake form via email or something?
It is there.
Yes, so it's on the screen right now, and so we'll have it available for download and also be provided by email, inshallah.
So the
Okay,
link is also in the chat window, but also like Mohan Sab said, we will be sending a follow-up email with the link to the form and other instructions. But it's in the chat window if you can find it.
Yeah, so if you come to, those of you who are interested, take a look at the chat window right now, and you should be able to see the link to access this form. And this is the form that I'm displaying on the screen as well.
One form has the address and duty.
Salam alaikum. I have a question regarding ghusl. Where is the ghusl performed today?
So that's a very good question. This cemetery is just burial, and so we'll be having to work with them once God forbid a person dies. The cemetery needs to be informed, and they will schedule to have the grave ready and the burial. So this is just for the burial part. Inshallah, once we have our new masjid facility, then we will have room for ghusl, and we will inshallah be able to perform ghusl on premises, which
At present time it is done in the
which will make it easier, inshallah. So looking in the future years, hopefully that'll make it easier for us to do the ghusl, to offer dua and Quran khani, and the Salatul Mayyit, the Namaz Mayyit, and then we will go to the funeral. Currently, there are a few Muslim funerals in the area. One is, I believe it's in Springfield, right?
Yeah, one is in Lorton.
Lorton. and then there is one in Chantilly. So all of them, we've worked with them in the past, and volunteers from the center and members of the family will go perform the ghusl, and then the body will come to the funeral home, will bring the body to the cemetery. So this does not cover the ghusl and the other funeral services. That would have to be separately commissioned. But in the not too distant future, with your du'as, inshallah, one part of that, we will be able to have it in the center, inshallah, on premises.
The current price for the funeral home service is about $3,500 per deceased. And the prices for this cemetery, we have already given you the prices, and they are going up from last few years, 10% per year. So many years ago, about 12 years ago, we purchased, and the prices were at that time about $2,300 for the full package. And now in the same cemetery, which is the Stonewall Cemetery, they are charging for the full package $15,000 for the full package. Their prices have gone dramatically up because they have only few Muslim spots left. So they are charging a lot of money for the grave, grave site.
So I saw a message in the chat window to repost the link. I did repost the link. Can you let me know if you do see it now? Should be a link that you can click on and open the form.
So I know, Brother Iqbal, you're driving, but inshallah, we'll be sending a follow-up email with the link and all the other instructions and information discussed in the session, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum. I have a question that why we have an upper level and lower level? Why not we purchase a land in one like an area so upper level and lower level will separate the Muslim like away from each other, the graves.
Yeah, it looks like that, but we visited the website, the burial site a few times. It's a very good question, and when you look at it on the form, it looks very odd. It looked odd to us as well. But really, this is just the cemetery themselves, that they say that these upper level graves, they're a little higher up, and therefore they're a little bit more attractive. And so some people will pay a premium for them. But the cemetery, the sites that we have reserved for Shahe Najaf members, they're all adjacent. So if you think of a hill, then there's, you're walking up the hill, you have 10 graves, and then you go further up the hill, and then there's 10 more, but they're all connected. All 20 graves are connected. So the ones that are a little bit lower are called lower level. The ones that are a little bit higher are called upper level. So that's the only difference, but they're all connected. So they're not actually separated. And that's not something that we have any control over, because the surveil and the delimitation of these graves was done by the cemetery. All we have is a certain section that has been reserved for our members, which is part of the larger section, the Muslim section of the cemetery.
I have a question too. I'm looking at this form and there is no place to email it or mail this form to.
Let me check for you. I think they did have in the form. I see you're right. It says please email to, but this is the form they gave us, but does not include it.
We will send you the link.
Yeah, I have that email and I'll put it in the chat window, but we'll send that link as well. Thank you for.
Thank you.
So if you are, my understanding is, correct me if I'm wrong, that if you are planning to buy this gravesite or burial site, it requires certain signing of the contracts. So I think the form is more for informational purpose, and once you fill it out and take it to the cemetery, they will go through the whole process of signing the contracts and paperwork.
If you, sorry, excuse me, if you have timings at like what time to what time their office is open, so if somebody want to go personally to see the area and sign it in the office, so, and do you have any idea what time to what time and what days they are open?
They're open during regular business hours. I'm going to share with you in the chat window the email for Kevin. He is the person who is in charge of the Muslim burial. So you'll have the email. What I would recommend is you can fill out the form and email it to the email that I've just sent on the chat window, and also Brother Mohsen will add it to the form before we email it. So when you email him, you can schedule a time if you'd like to see it in person. The cemetery, though, is open anytime during the day. If you'd like to drive by, you can come in. And if you enter the cemetery from Braddock Road, the Muslim section begins right
before the main door.
Yeah, before the main door, next to Braddock Road. And then it goes back to, there's a mausoleum, like a building about halfway north of Braddock Road, before 29. So the Muslim section is in the southeast section of the cemetery, and you can take a look at any time. You don't need to make an appointment if you'd like to see the cemetery. It's very conveniently located. It's about 4 miles or 3.5 to 4 miles east of our Imam al-Asr Masjid location, and almost a mile or so from George Mason University. So you can make.
I have a question.
Sure.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But let me get this straight. The first step is we need to fill in this form and email it to them.
Yes. So the email is sent above. Kevin c@fmpark.com. Okay. So,
And I'm assuming that in the email, sorry, I'm assuming that in the email that we mentioned that we're Shahe Najaf members, or does that come at a different stage?
That I'm a member of Shahe Najaf. I would like to purchase 1 or 2 graves. You can make the choice of, upper level, lower level, and do you want to get the full package? If possible, then it's probably a good idea, just based on past experience, to reserve a grave site for you and your family, because the prices have been increasing in this area faster than inflation. So for those families that are able to afford it and would like to have a grave site near home, near the masjid, then sooner is probably better, because prices are, as you've seen, they increase faster than inflation. And for those who are able to get the whole package, then that adds one level of convenience, that now loved ones are not going to have to scramble to make those arrangements. Everything has been arranged and paid for in advance. So it makes it a little bit easier for family members. But the most important thing is the grave site itself. That's the minimum that is needed. And that's the one, I think, where the price increases the fastest, faster than inflation. So those things, you can make the decision, and if you can pay in cash, or in 3 years, or in 5 years. The cemetery is responsive. We have been communicating with them for a number of months now, so they should give you a response in a reasonable time. and answer any questions about their end of the contract.
And you did mention that the graves for the Muslims are facing Qibla then, correct? So Kevin should know that when we are working with him.
Yes, yeah. So he knows that, and when you say that you're a member, then the membership really, I mean, they're not going to ask you for any evidence or proof of membership. Really what it means is that we have a Shia section for Mu'mineen.
And they will give you this discount.
So you'll be adjacent to that and you'll get the discount. So those are the two benefits for mentioning that. And then if you let us know as well, then we also will have that information on file, that who has purchased a grave as a member of our organization, and that allows us to facilitate with the cemetery, when the time of need comes.
And is there a timeline that you recommend we make these arrangements? I'm assuming that there's like an agreed upon timeline that we should respond by.
Within
So
3
the cemetery
weeks.
has said, it's a good question. Cemetery, once again, as my father mentioned earlier, has said that prices are going to increase on May 1st. We have no control over their prices. So we had actually, one of the reasons for the slight delay is because we had requested them to give an additional 5% discount for our members by informing them that once we have a relationship and a number of our members purchase, then we will be, inshallah, referring future people to the same center. It's something that many members of the community will benefit from. But they are a corporation and a business. And so they sent that to corporate and they said that this is the discount that we can offer you, the 20%. And those who buy a full package, it'll be an extra 500. So this is, their corporate policy. So for those of you who are looking to purchase a grave, I think it would be very advisable to sign the contract and reserve your grave before May 1st, in the next 2 weeks, ideally, maximum almost 3 weeks.
So
Okay,
what
thank you.
happened? What happened to the form we already registered before, the form that comes through Shahe Najaf?
That was for the information. It was on the basis of those responses that we spoke with the cemetery. We reserved these sites and we requested for their discount. In addition, we requested then that because we are Muslims, we have the recommendation in Islam to have the burial be as soon as possible. So they will make every effort to give us within the weekdays a burial next day. And if it's very busy, then within 2 days. As you know, here in America, people generally, their burial is not soon. It's 5 to 7 days after death. So people, they delay the funeral. And the majority of the clients of this cemetery are still non-Muslims. So we've requested them to give us those considerations in view of our Muslim teachings about burial. And that contract has been signed. That will carry over to all of the members who purchase graves. So that was just informational. Now, when you sign the contract, you are actually purchasing a grave or a number of graves from the cemetery.
So is there like a limit they offer you the graves, or they are open to as many as you can buy?
They said that there are, from what they said, there are limited number of graves, especially at the lower level. So, within reason, if a family wishes to purchase 2 or 4, I don't think it'll be a problem, but there might be space limitations, for a larger quantity purchase.
Okay.
They would be able to give you the precise answer based on how many graves they have available in each section at the moment.
I have a question regarding this $500 discount that you mentioned for full payments.
Yeah.
Is that on top of the prices listed on this
No,
form, or
that's-
it's included?
They factored that in.
Gotcha. Okay.
That should be factored in.
Top of it.
They took the 500 and then they applied the percentage discount,
Okay, thank you.
if I understood their explanation correctly. And I think, sister, you asked about, or there was a question about the information on ghusl and where it's performed. So you can contact right now Shahe Najaf by phone or by email if there is a death in the family, and we respond as soon as possible to facilitate the ghusl and then salat and burial. So you will need to retain the services of a funeral home legally in order to be able to transport the body, and but we can provide the assistance for ghusl, for salat, for namaz, for tadfeen, which is burial. So I think that's the majority of the information that you will need. Once again, the availability is something that we cannot guarantee. So please do download the form, fill it out, email it to the email provided so that you have the opportunity to avail yourself of grave sites, inshallah. Any other questions? I can take a look at the chat window. Mohsen, I think if you're still here, you've already put the forms on the website and you've shared the links, correct?
Yes. Yep.
So
I have one question not related to this, but when we are going to start building our new mosque?
inshallah, that's a very good question. And you're right, it's not related, but it is related in one way. We have, inshallah, our hearing with the Fairfax County at the end of June. June 23rd, I think is the date. And so make dua, inshallah. We are hopeful that everything will go through in that hearing, but it's not, unusual for the county to give a few extra tasks that you need to do these things in order to be approved. So hopefully after that hearing, we'll either get the approval or will be soon, within a few weeks or month of the approval. And then after that, inshallah, there is the site planning and those things to get ready for construction. So we're moving forward with your du'as. COVID has caused some delays from the county's end, not from our end, but still, alhamdulillah, our team is moving forward, architect and the developer. And so we're ready now and waiting for our hearing date. Please do make dua, especially
Inshallah.
during the month of Ramadan.
Sure. Always.
Jazakumullah. Okay. So if there's no more questions, then I think we can conclude. I will just briefly recite dua, but I'm going to give another opportunity if anybody would like to ask a question before we conclude with dua. All right. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبحان من لا يعتدي على أهل مملكته سبحان من لا يأخذ أهل الأرض بألوان العذاب سبحان الرؤوف الرحيم اللهم اجعل لنا في قلوبنا نورا وبصرا وفهما وعلما إنك على كل شيء قدير. Jazakumullah for attending this session. Please keep us in your du'as, inshallah. And if you have any further questions or if you have any issues in contacting the cemetery, then please don't hesitate to let us know. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.